So now, in this HA test, let's pick on node 5. So in this scenario, we're not just going to take a node down. I want to upgrade this node. Uh, and I've mentioned this in another video, I think. Node 5, 780, has a 100 meg card in it for its public interface. And it's marked as not configured. Uh, it probably doesn't even show a MAC address anywhere. No, it doesn't. But nevertheless, I don't feel comfortable taking a node down like we did in the last video, putting in different hardware, and then bringing it back up. It would probably work okay, but Maz has already deployed it. So, and what if this was like a hard drive, or you were upgrading memory or something like that? You wouldn't want this to be inaccurate. Plus, it would just bother me that even if it did work, it would bother me that it wasn't accurate. So, what happens in that instance, right? And you can probably go into that log and figure out what that MAC address was. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this node down. I'm going to switch out the cards. We're going to bring it back up. We're going to redeploy it and see what happens. So first things first, I would always recommend that you keep a snapshot of your Juju status on your server. And the easiest way to do that is just do a Juju status and send it over to a text file. Then enter that text file. So let's do a Control W is search in Nano, by the way. Node 5780. So the reason why I recommend this is because now I know exactly what's running on that host. So if you just keep searching through here, you're going to know what kind of services that you have. So there's base machine 4, and then you can also note it's got Ceph OSD3. You can also note what LXC containers there are, which is the LXC1 series container. Also, take a look, just for your reference, take a look at that node, which is which one? It's machine 1. So take a look at this. You'll note what's in here already, because we're going to have to rebuild this. It's going to completely go away, right? So keep a copy of that Juju status. I highly recommend it. This won't always get you what you need, but Juju status probably will. And if the node were to fail, I'll show you that. I'll show you what happens there. But this is a controlled outage, right? An upgrade, as you will. So we're going to prepare for an upgrade. So let's go out here. So it's already deployed, right? You have to recommission if you want to pick up hardware changes. And then you have to get it back into a ready state so that Maz knows what you changed. So, as bad an idea as this probably is, we're going to release this node. Okay, so even though it's not deployed, the IP is gone, so I can't interact with it via SSH. The cards have been reset. But it's not deployed, but Juju still knows it as a machine. So if you go take a look, you're not going to see anything wrong. Uh, Everything still looks good. You're not going to see anything in the GUI. Let's go take a look out here. Everything's still fine because, well, I take that back. Who's complaining? Oh, so the card's gone, so we're starting to see network errors. But you don't see a lot of catastrophic stuff, right? Plus, it's HA, so it's still going to recover. Let's do a see what some of the messages are. And so we don't see a lot of bad stuff because that node's still there. But since we did release it and send it back to ready, we can never get it back to the state that we need it to be in. So let's go find machine 1 up here. Remember, we grabbed the GG status and put it in a file so we can refer to it later. Machine 1 has all these LXC containers. So we need to get rid of everything that used to be machine 1. And you can do that. I don't know if we've ever gone through the help commands. I use them all the time, but it's just help commands. Terminate machine, machine remove, they're kind of interchangeable. You can do, you have to use force if you have containers running on a machine. I believe it's just, yeah, -- force. So juju machine remove and hits number 1 -- force. Okay, it's going to start deconstructing that machine. You'll start seeing it in the GUI fall off and go away. It's going to take it out of this HA environment. Let's go back to machines here. So there's number 1. You'll start seeing these icons just fall off here. Again, this probably isn't the safest way to do things, but it does work. I've tested it before. So as soon as we see this thing, here we go, we're falling out, all the containers be destroyed and the machine be destroyed, I'll go power that machine off, put the hardware that I want, and then we'll continue the video. I'll go through this part here. Okay, and the machine is gone. I just want you to note that the machine's gone, so you're not going to see any more errors. Everything's fine. It's HA, right? Let's go back to the dashboard real quick. I got too many pages open. I just closed the dashboard. But we open the dashboard up. Everything's okay, right? The instances are still running. Your hypervisors are still there. And because there was no compute on that node, all your VMs will be fine. Okay? So there's HA. Now, we're okay. We've survived that node going away. I'm going to go power it down, do my hardware upgrade, which is just a NIC card swap, faster NIC card, and then I'll bring it back up and we'll continue the video. Okay, so I powered the node off and I changed the NIC card out. There's something I want to do real quick. Let's take note. Okay, so there's the private interface. We've got a C6DB and we've got a 60CF. This 60CF is the one we changed. So it's been changed. So let's take action. We're going to commission. And we'll wait for that to commission. Okay, and it's ready. You'll notice it changed from 60CF to 18FD. So that's our new card. So it's ready to go. Now that it's ready to go again, we need to put it back in Juju. So we took down machine 1. Machine 1's gone. No more machine 1, and there's nothing you can do to retrieve those numbers. See, I have a 9 down there. This is from a previous test. There's no 4. 4 became 9. So we're just going to end up with a 10 pretty much. So let's look at adding the machine. Again, I want to show you the help is very useful. So we're going to add machine, but we're going to add it by name so it doesn't just grab any old machine. So let's do Juju. Okay, and this will give you your options. And we want to do the bottom one there, Juju machine. Machine add by its name. And that one is node 5780.mas. Okay, it created machine 18. Don't know why it creates different numbers like that. But anyway, you can watch it build. It's pending. We'll give it a little time. It's deploying and building the OS right now. You can see it on MAS. Which reminds me, we added some memory to that one. It's not in the cloud right now, but we might as well commission it while we're here. Okay, we're deployed. Let's check the status again. Still pending. And now we're started. So we're in good shape. Now, we need to add our LXC containers. And if you saw before, in the help, it will show you how to do the LXCs. And we want to do machine add, but we're going to do, since that was number 18, the one that it just added, so we'll do LXC 18. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. And there's 6. So that's all of the containers that the old machine had that we're trying to replace. The same machine, but we destroyed the GG machine before. So now we've got containers on it. Now we need to add the units that were once on there back. And the easiest way is to pull up 2 screens. Let's get into the internal on this one as well. Take a look at your output file that we grabbed from the Juju status. And first thing I would do is search for node 5780. Remember, this is before we took the machine out, so how it used to be. So it was machine 1. It has these containers on it. So just scroll through here. And then it's going to get to the hardware and what it has on the base machine. So let's search again for 5780. Here it is. So it had base machine 4. So we need to add a unit for base machine 4. So let's go back to the other window. And let's do help again. Add unit, I believe it is. So this tells you how to put them to the regular machines or the containers. So we want to add unit, base machine, to 18. And we don't need the help. Take that help out. Okay, and let's jump back to the other window. Base machine has landscape client in it. It also has NTP in it. So that's all that was in the root container. Actually, that's probably not true. So let's search again. So the root container also had Ceph in it, Ceph OSD. So let's jump back, and we're going to add. Okay, let's jump back, search again. Again, landscape comes with it, and it had a neutron gateway in it. Okay, let's jump back, check again. Okay, so we wrapped. We're back to the beginning. So that's good. Now let's check and see what the containers had in them. So we'll do 1/lxc. And we'll just go through this a couple times. So the first one had cephmon in it. And to put it to a specific container, all you got to do let's make sure. I want to put it in the same container. It was in 3. Okay. Let's search again. We had cinder in number 5. Okay. We had keystone in number 4. Okay, next one. We had MySQL in number 2. Okay. Next one. We have Nova Cloud Controller in number 1. Let's jump back. And OpenStack Dashboard in the 0 container. Okay, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all the containers, and we have 3 in the main. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. So that should be good. We can check one more time. But we wrapped all the way to the back. So that's all the charms that it had installed before we upgraded the hardware. So let's go take a look at the GUI. You're going to see a lot of orange, which means it's deploying stuff. They're pending. But you can see machine number 18. There it is. And it's creating all of these charms in these containers. Now, if you've ever tried to edit a config file for OpenStack and it keeps telling you Juju maintains this config file, here's where all that frustration is going to save you. Because we just lost one node, we're replacing one node, we're deploying all these charms, it already knows about the configuration. When those charms come in, it's going to change those config files on the fly because all these charms now have new IPs. And I mean, things are going to change, but they're HA, so the configuration was already saved. So it's just going to change that config to the new IP, and everything's going to pan out just fine. Now, this takes a little while because it's downloading and installing and putting things back to where they're going to be. So we'll leave it right here for now. I'll let it churn and get things ready to go, and then I'll continue the video. Okay, all the charms have finished deploying. Everything's clean, ready to go. Let's do a quick GG status, see what we look like. I'm gonna actually use that other window. So we've got a lot of good stuff. It's installing packages still. That's fine. But we've got units are clustered, running install hooks. We're still installing a few charms. Uh, we're joining databases, so it's copying that MySQL stuff back over so that we're back in an HA environment. But nothing looks bad. Uh, that's probably nothing to worry about. It's still just, that's probably RabbitMQ or MySQL just getting back into HA. So that's not a big deal. See, it's still running these shared DB hooks. That's probably what it's complaining about. So we still got a little bit of waiting to do, but things are going good. Let's check the dashboard. Make sure everything's going okay. Everything's looking good. Instances. Everything's fine, no problem there. We never lost connectivity to our test instance here because we didn't involve any compute. Remember that. Let's take another look. Still installing. Running install hooks. Again, if you get a hook that's stalled out or that you see an error, you can use they'll be on that web page, but you can use the resume and the resolved retry to try to work your way out of it. Worst case scenario, you would have to reboot one of these new LXC containers, but it shouldn't be an issue. This has worked pretty good so far. So it is still spinning up, it's still installing things, but we're recovered. I mean, not fully recovered. Like we couldn't lose a node right now, but it will recover. Um, it will finish installing, and everything will go back to an HA environment. So that's how you can uh, upgrade some hardware, take your node out, take your GG node out, uh, pull it back in as a different machine number, same node, different machine number, and then reinstall your charms, and you go right back to HA. No issues at all. I've done it a couple times now. Everything works pretty good. So that's the upgrade path for this OpenStack environment. So we'll see what we can get into next. I'm looking at like maybe a whole cloud crash, something like that. So I'm sure we could find all kinds of trouble to get into. So thanks for watching.